And welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
Oh, I'm JD, but I'm Charlie.
You're in my seat today.
I am.
That would make me. No, I'm not a captain. I'm Fred.
Admiral.
Captain Paul Tire.
There you go.
You got to be an admiral or something.
I would think.
Major malfunction or something.
Major malfunction. that ain't descriptive. Yeah.
That could be like the guy on Gilligan's Island who was the.
Which one?
The
skipper?
No, the other dude.
The professor?
No, the other one. Howell.
Thurston
Howell.
Thurston Howell the third.
Yeah, he had his captain's hat.
Okay. All right, folks. Let me get this out of the way right up front. I'm gonna apologize. We had the storm blow through, and we were all able to make it except for our executive producer, Grant. Grant is not here in the studio. I am sitting in Grant's chair, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I called Grant, and through the garbled phone connection, he gave me directions. So you may or may not hear this today. I have done this before, but never well. So that ought to be a brand. That's a brand. Never well. What brand you got? Well, that's that Charlie's brand. What did it come up with? Never well. What do you mean? He's never done it very well. Anyhow, so
it's all
I have
be
no
all
idea.
right.
The intro music is probably the wrong music that you just heard. I have no idea how to do that post-production, and I don't know. You could probably hear an echo because we recorded the other day before the storm. JD and I came in and did a 10-minute segment.
Just in case.
Just in case. I don't know what we talked about, but we blew 10 minutes just so we could give y'all a heads up that we weren't going to be here today, and now we are, in fact, here today. And it was a terrible, terrible – the segment matter was pretty good, but when I went back and published
Listen to it?
Produced it. When I finished it sounded like we were in a 55-gallon drum. And I'm hoping y'all don't hear that. I've been guilty of that before. So, anyway, storm hit.
Thankfully,
went. We dodged a major bullet here at the range.
It's all because of the Mag Lab.
I think they had that sucker turned up on 25.
They had
that thing running in overdrive because we were just
I know that's
dead
all.
set.
That's all supposedly scientifically whatever. I'll tell you this. I wanted to share my 1:15 in the morning Friday morning experience when I'm sitting there watching and just feeling really, really bad for the folks over to the east of Tallahassee because they have taken Perry and Horseshoe Beach and Keaton and all.
I mean, they just got
Crystal
slammed.
River. They 3 times.
Yeah,
3 times in a year, man. God bless those folks. My heart goes out to them. But anyway, it was whatever 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, all kind of run together now. And I'm watching the eye wall, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm seeing the little dot on the map that is my house. And I'm going, it's fixing to get bad because I probably got half a dozen trees that could reach my house depending on which way the wind's blowing. And I got my mom there, my wife's at work, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm getting ready to go pull trees out of the roof and put a tarp on it, And I walked outside, and it sounded like it sounded like you were sitting in a jet airplane at 30,000 feet, and you just get this hum, the sound of in that airplane. And I'm going, this is not good at all. And I had one of my good tactical 800 lumen, 1,000 lumen flashlights, and I'm shining up in the trees all the way around the house, and the trees were perfectly still. And it was the most eerie, weird thing I have ever seen or heard in my life. I mean, just the tops of these 120-foot tall pine trees were perfectly still. Now, I sit down in a hole.
Yeah, you're in a hole, but still, those trees are way up there.
Wow.
I don't know if it was stuff, if I was hearing stuff to the east of me where the eye wall was and it just wasn't, the wind just wasn't getting there, or if it was because of down in a hole, or if the winds were at altitude or whatever. But that was the most odd thing I have ever witnessed in my 56 years on this earth.
I talked to some folks up in Summerbrook earlier, and very little debris in certain places. And then I talked with Kendall, one of my lieutenants with the security company, and man, I was being a rear end. Yes, I made all my employees with the security trucks go park them in the middle of a field or the middle of a parking lot. And I said, don't put them anywhere near your house because I don't want your house falling on my truck because my insurance ain't gonna cover it. I lose. Just go put it in the middle of a field. He literally put it in the middle of a 40-acre field and sent me a picture. Kind of being a smart tail about it, but I had been a butthole,
You earned it.
I know I did, but you know what? That truck's fine.
That's right.
And this morning I was talking to him and I said, well, you know, I know you trees, no trees down. I said, good. It was probably real wet. He goes, you know, we hardly got any rain. I said, we got 10 inches at my house in Mariana.
We got.
I had to pump my pool out twice during this mess.
I might have got 4 inches at the house.
No, well, it's weird, like because we had those bands that were just going straight south or north to south, one direction or the other. But we were in that band for like extended periods of time, and we were expecting it to hit us hard. Because we were figuring we were going to be on the west side of it. I went out and I've got a solar array in my yard, one of those big 15 kW solar things on the post in the ground with concrete. And I went out and moved a loader and a big mulcher, a feather buncher, and my truck, and all on one side of it. I was expecting the wind to come that way, so it would disrupt it. I'm out there setting the bucket off the loader on the edge of the chicken pen so it wouldn't blow away. Because
did the chickens survive?
I didn't go out and check on them this morning. They're fine. They're fine. I put a new tarp over it and all that stuff. Well, they're these little they call them splash Americanas. They're
hairy
little
foot chickens,
stringy, hairy-looking things that lay blue eggs.
Hairy foot chickens.
Well, they're.
Did y'all use electricity? Lose electricity?
No, not over there. And we didn't hear it at the range. We're in our studio right now, and we still have electricity. Yeah. I watched cameras all night. I stayed up all night long watching cameras. I was watching a security camera I got on a solar project in Madison between two of the Madison exits over there. I watched the eye of the hurricane. it was just blowing. I mean, just it's crazy. Trees falling, and then right on. I mean, literally 100 feet off the interstate, and then I was watching the radar, and I was click back over and look at the camera, and you could see the inner eye wall as it passed over. It just really got really, really violent, and then all of a sudden it was just dead calm. Little breeze, breeze in there and all that, and then a little while later it was back hard at it again. Yeah, and it was. I'm like, I'm glad I let that guy stay home from that job site last night. That would have. And the guy showed up this morning, and he goes to that job site to the portables with the porches on them.
Can I tell you how glad I am that I don't work for you?
And so I'm like, well, I said my thing was if we can be there, we need to be there. And so the guy that went over there this morning said, hey, man, fight the traffic, go over there, check it out. All the people that work at that job site are long gone. I mean, they're not, man, they're like, you don't have to be there. I said, well, we need to be there because I don't make any money if we're not there. And so he showed up this morning and said, it looks all pretty good except the porches on the portables are all like gone. And he goes, I said, okay, well, that's fine. Jump in the car and go check. He goes, yeah, but remember we had the key in a lockbox attached to the porch.
Well,
I'm like, well, call me back. Oh, man. And that's the only key we got to that car. So he found it.
Okay.
He found it.
I was going to say, that's going to be expensive. That's probably one of them electric key you got to.
Well, the last storm that blew through that same job site, they lost a kayak. And that was the only thing they lost in the whole thing. They said, well, somebody stole the kayak. And I went, nah, I'm pretty sure it just went away. And so.
I tell you, I don't even have any cleanup to do at the house. I don't have limbs and
no electricity
stuff
out at your house.
I'm electricity. My electricity never blinked.
Yeah, well, no, we
Clarn Lakes is underground utility. So unless the substation up there at Bradfordville or Bannerman and Thomasville goes out, we're or a local transformer.
What's weird is, and I think it's because they turn it off because they have power lines down, they'll turn off a whole neighborhood. Yeah. But my mother-in-law's house up in Lakewood Village, my daughter's house over in Settlers Spring, they had power all night, and then all of a sudden after the storm blew through, they lost power. Yeah. And I think maybe they're going out there and flipping something off to keep, for safety measures.
I don't know. We lost it like midnight, and it's 1 minute.
That one finger means that's the end of it.
Short story.
We lost it around midnight. I got up this morning, rode around. There was one house in the neighborhood that had no tree above 8 feet tall. Wow. And he had his windows boarded up. And I'm like, why would you board up windows for a house that is only has little trees around it. And then I looked around and I saw a Camel for President sign. And I'm like, okay, well, now I know.
He rides around in a car with a mask on by himself, too, still.
I didn't even think about boarding stuff up. I just, it didn't dawn on me. I went to Lowe's in Mariana. We got 9 seconds. I had no idea how to end this thing, so we're going 5-4. And we'll be back in just a minute. I've just probably messed all kinds of stuff up on the production side of this thing. Y'all see that timer?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm supposed to do on this is when it gets down to like we got a few seconds left, I need to leave a little bit of room for some music. I don't know.
It'll be all right.
Just when that says 0, y'all stop talking.
When it plays your little tinkly music.
Dude, that's what the phone does. I don't know. I mean, I know there's probably a way to fix it, make it sound something more manly. Yeah. Wake my wife up in the morning with that. And
she woke up angry.
So right as that thing was, right before it turned, it was headed directly toward us.
Mm-hmm.
And my neighbor sent me the path of it, the projected path that had it going right over us. Said, this is super bad for us. And I responded immediately. So we should rent a shrimp boat and head out to sea. Cut your legs off, and I'll pick you up in a few minutes.
Lieutenant Dan.
I saw you posted that on Facebook,
I
right?
did.
I did. I saw that, and I said, "What idiot put that out there?" I was too busy to see who it was, and it was you. Yeah, it was you.
Major malfunction.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through there. I'm trying to look at all the cameras and the radars and this and that, and I've just like this command center in my hand because the grandkids were over and it was Disney Plus on the TV, so I'm sitting there trying to do all this on my phone, and I saw that on Facebook. And here's the thing: is there's so many different weather people on Facebook. People keep sharing stuff, and the thing about sharing stuff on Facebook is you're scrolling through and you see information that may be 2 days old.
Yeah,
and because somebody commented on it. It gets bumped back up to the top again, and now you're looking at it going, well, wait a minute, when was that the update? And I wish people would just quit doing that stuff.
Google News isn't any better because I don't have Facebook, but Google News, I flipped on there this morning and was kind of looking through there, and it said 3 storms bearing down, three hurricanes bearing down on Florida, and I'm like, what?
I think
I miss?
There are a couple more out there.
Yeah, they haven't started building up yet.
They're way over in the Atlantic.
Yeah. One of them is, but that Isaac is.
Huh?
Isn't that? I don't know. Look it up real quick.
Let's don't talk about. I don't even want to talk that.
Well,
don't talk the devil up.
DirecTV quits working, so I'm having to run off my Starlink because we live out in the woods. So you got DirecTV satellite, which that satellite's like way up yonder, and so bad weather just cuts that out. You got nothing during the storm. But the Starlink, those low Earth satellites, that's pretty strong.
Yeah,
there's some strong stuff there, and then you can stream everything through that. But it's but I'm having to stream DirecTV over Starlink in order to get the weather channels that I want on the TV. Now on my phone, I'm fine.
It looks like Isaac's headed toward Russia. I think we'll be fine with that
one down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got no visual representation of what you're talking about.
I'm just ready to for hurricane season to be with Jim Cantori. We need to give him a trespass warning for the entire state.
Do you remember
from June till November?
Do you remember
welcome
the time
to come down here.
I don't know if you were at the Sheriff's Office or not, JD, but the Twin Lakes out there on the Parkway had flooded.
Well, I wasn't there, but I remember it.
Yeah, so it flooded. There's right before you get to the old landfill, which is now the soccer
right where Mom and Dad used to be, or the wharf used to be.
Well, you go back up in there, and that neighborhood used to be real bad about flooding before they did some stormwater issues. The county went in there. And I remember one year that we were out there, and the neighborhood had flooded, the road in and out had flooded. And the sheriff's office was out there doing the political thing that we do at the sheriff's office, and we put the boat out there, and we were shuttling people in and out on the boat. And we went next door, and I think it was Harry Chairs told me, hey, go over there and talk to that fellow owns that surveying company next to it and see they have a problem with us crossing their property. And I went over there and they says, no, you can go right through the woods here. You can get right to the neighborhood. So we blazed the path with a machete. I remember being out there in the woods with a machete and a chainsaw. We made a road. And so we took the side-by-side, the mule that the sheriff's office had one or two that belonged to the reserve unit, and we were shuttling people in and out of the woods and said, to heck with the boat. And then later on, the county put a road in through somebody's yard. I guess they exercised eminent domain through somebody's driveway on the other end of the property, and they started driving in and out. In the meantime, Jim Cantor shows up. And you know how they like to stage this stuff. Now, one of those roads is low, and those houses were flooded. I remember walking with my wading boots down the road, walking up to the house and going, yeah, this house has got water in the carport. And it wasn't that big a deal. It was just inconvenient for everybody. And, hold on. All right, that would be the wife calling me on the phone. I didn't have the thing on because I needed the alarm to ring. So anyway, sorry, honey. I just hung up on you, and I'll call you back on the break. So she's been working at the sheriff's office in Jackson County this whole time dealing with the storm stuff. And anyway,
so you're wading through the
Jim
neighborhood.
Cantor gets in a boat, goes out in the middle of the pond so he can broadcast, and I'm in the middle of the pond in this flooded neighborhood, and dropped the camera in the water.
$100,000.
Did he?
Yeah, it was a very expensive camera, and it just went poof and was gone. I think it's still down there in the bottom of that lake somewhere.
Well, I'm just thankful that yeah, I'm thankful I wasn't working there and on the dive team, because hey, go get that camera for that fella. I ain't getting in that nasty water.
That's exactly what they would have done, was I had you go get it. Because they've had you go after
Worse,
all kinds of
So
less important things than
Pete
that.
Cohen's wife, Andy.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah.
She is her lifelong.
She has been enamored with him for a long time. Not Pete, but Jim Cantor.
Yeah. She
Probably
finally,
Pete occasionally.
I saw on Facebook, she finally went down there and got a picture made with him.
And she posted that he finally got to meet me.
Yeah.
I love that. My wife said,
There's a lot of
this is how big a deal that is. My wife is sitting in the recliner yesterday, and she said, well, I see Andy finally got to meet Jim Cantor. I said, no. He finally got to meet her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you all see the same stuff.
He's a huge hero to a lot of people that lived down in Miami and Homestead and places like that when Andrew hit, because he was one of the few weathercasters down there that said, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be really, really bad. Y'all need to prepare and leave and whatever else. And it was, and he was, and because everybody else was kind of like, it's going to be a, whatever, hurricane hit, a Cat 1 hitting Miami, and it's kind of like a Cat 1 hitting here, not that big of a, not a huge thing, but he's like, this is going to be really bad, and so he's a hero to a lot of folks that lived through Andrew, and
I think that's probably the worst storm in our lifetime.
No, Michael by far.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Michael was just as strong and much, much, much bigger. Yeah. Much wider swath, stayed bigger, longer.
Technically, there wasn't as much stuff to blow over.
Yeah.
But the amount, if you went out and looked at the damage, Michael, the eye of Michael went over where I live right now.
Yeah.
I mean, my house was built post-Michael, so it's a PM house. And but it's just the damage. Because now in South Florida, you got a lot of palm trees and different things like that. You don't have the oaks and the different things and the 100-year-old trees and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, the people that lived through that down there are going to tell you that was worse. The people that lived through this up here. Now, what bothers the people in North Florida around the Mariana area and all that, where Michael came through, is that right now they're talking about, okay, well, we have what was the one that just went through?
Idalia?
The one, this one?
Helene.
This is Helene.
Okay, Helene, this is the most powerful, blah, 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 blah. And they're talking about, no, it ain't. Then, and
it was barely, it was a Cat 4, but barely 130 miles, 140 miles.
I'm telling you, I sat and watched this stuff on camera as it went over, and then you got all the news people reporting from the step out behind the very sturdy I'm behind a very sturdy building here, and then you can see the sign,
the metal flapping
on
it.
No, the sign to the building says nice rooms, cheap rates on the sign, and the sign was gone because it blew away in the last storm, but the nice rooms, cheap rates. And I'm going, that's probably not the sturdiest building in town. I'm just saying.
Me and my mama sitting there last night watching the stuff. There's a guy down in Perry on the Weather Channel, and he's sitting there, and we both said it at the same time. Said, boy, you better get your butt in the house.
And they got this.
The metal siding started flapping on that side out there. I'm like, boy, you better get your butt in the house.
And they got a guy, and the guy standing out there, and he says, for those of the wind and the water, and we got the storm surge. And if you found this storm surge, this story might look familiar. Pow! pow, and he just, we got
to go.
something fell.
Got to go
and
now.
he went back out there, and there was a piece of metal laying on the ground. And he went on for 10 minutes about, this thing, it must have been down there, and a piece of metal hit the guy. I said, you've obviously not been through many of these. You are looking for something to talk about and fill airtime while somebody somewhere is getting an update, because they're like, if his producer, a professional producer, not like me doing this dadgum show, but somebody that knew what he was doing would have said, hey, cut away from him. He's beating this thing to death. Get away from him, go somewhere else. Let's show some more waves. Cut away to Clearwater again, because that looked kind of impressive with the storm surge.
Did y'all see the blue and white house at Horseshoe Beach?
No.
They were showing this. They had a camera, a Wi-Fi or whatever camera hooked up on this blue and white house at Horseshoe Beach, and it was waves were breaking up under the house. And then they lost the camera, and I'm like, well, what happened? I wonder what the house
know what
made.
happened to the house.
And then I was sitting there watching that, and I said, there's some poor. I said a bad word in front of my mom. I said, there's some poor son of a that's sitting on TV somewhere in a motel room going, God, looking at my watching his house, watching these waves
the whole
break
time
into his
he's
house.
watching. So it was up on stilts,
yeah.
way up in the air. You could park cars under it and everything. Sure enough, trucks. It was way up in there, and that water got higher and higher and higher and higher. Now it was breaking under. The waves are breaking under there, and it was slapping the floor of the house. And I'm going, that house ain't gonna be there long.
They finally lost camera. Lost the footage
feed?
on it, and I'm like, man, I want to know what happened to the blue and white house. We got to find out now.
Well, I'm absolutely curious to see what happened to the blue and white house. So
they kept interviewing the mayor. Did you see that? They had the mayor up there, and if people go in behind him and start screaming and yelling Trump. And
that was cool. That was awesome.
And then
the
guy had the flag out
I don't
there.
think they did it behind the mayor. The guy was just talking on camera, and a guy came up in front of the Capitol and waved the Trump sign.
Yeah, that's where.
And
he
then
had
some
the flag.
dude walks over there trying to run him off.
It was some big old guy.
It's going to be a pretty good tussle.
I have the right to stand on this street just like you do, sir.
What about your buddy, old Brett Shields, getting interviewed by?
Oh yeah, he had his hat on there. It said, "Identify as non-binary."
Everybody was reposting that picture. It took me a while to figure out why they were doing it, and I finally zoomed in, was able to.
Well, that's classic Brett Shields. I mean, that's,
to do it.
Yeah.
All right, this thing's ticking down. We'll be back in just a minute. And we're back. All right, so this is our bottom of the hour wiregrass segment. We call it that because Tallahassee doesn't get to hear this, but unless they're streaming or on YouTube or whatever. Got a really good antenna, I reckon. But so I want to take this bottom of the hour segment. We've got this weekend, today, if you're listening on Saturday, today is the Endless Summer Blast. At the range. This is the biggest gun. Probably, maybe, I don't know, there's about 100-something competitors there. I don't know how big our Glock match is going to be coming up, but probably promises to be pretty big. But this Endless Summer Blast has been going on for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. And the Dothan range, which is the Dothan Gun Club originally, that JD, you and I bought from Dan Mitchell here a few years ago. Dan poured his heart and soul into building that place. I mean, he went out there and moved dirt. He bought the land. He just did so much to build that place. And Dan has become a good friend. Dan sold the range to us because he had a long-term illness and knew he was not going to be able to finish the project that he had poured his world into. And I got news here in the last 24 hours is that Dan passed away. And so a lot of people here in the Dothan listening area know who Dan Mitchell is. He owned a hair place, and a lot of the people in town know him from that. He built that range, competitive shooter. Mm-hmm. I mean, he traveled and competed, and he's been coming out to the stuff for the longest time. When he quit running it, he still came back out. Even through his illness, he was coming out there. Last shoot, we were finishing the competition bays, and he was on the bulldozer, and I was on the loader, and we were out there working together on this stuff. And so Dan's a heck of a guy. He can be grumpy every once in a while, but he was a heck of a guy.
So can you.
I'm probably worse than him. And which is probably why
Really?
he and I got along so good. The irony of it is that the Endless Summer Blast, which he founded, is this weekend. And he passed the day before, they were finishing up the preparations for it. And so, our prayers are with his wife and all his friends and family. But we'd be remiss not to mention the person that has done so much for the shooting community in the Wiregrass region.
Yep.
And, y'all will come out and look around. I mean, if you come out to the range and look around, most of that stuff out there is Dan's doings. I mean, it's he's trained so many people, worked with so many people. Just every time I saw him, I had a smile on his face, and he was so happy with what we were able to do with that place after he sold it to us. I mean, he really was genuinely pleased, and so anyhow.
Well, we'll be thinking about his folks. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a Glock match coming up in Dothan in November.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it.
Remember what weekend it is?
No, not
I
off
mean,
the top of my
neither.
head.
We'll announce it between now and then.
Yeah, we'll get a little closer.
But in a minute and a half, talk about the Glock match.
So the GSSF match is a national shooting trail, if you will. They travel all over the country. It is sponsored, factory-sponsored Glock match. You have to shoot a Glock pistol. There are buku-oodles of different categories. I'm not going to get into all that, but they have military law enforcement academies for different size caliber guns. They have even one for the little Glock 42 and 43, the little small capacity single stack. So they've got a bunch of different categories. So if you own a bunch of different Glock pistols, you can register and shoot in a bunch of different categories. And every time you enter in a category or entry, they give away down here every year somewhere between 50 and 70 guns for free, or gun certificates for free.
How far is the target?
About the farthest target's maybe 25 yards. It's more close and fast. They do a steel rack, a head plate rack. All of their courses of fire are posted on the GSSF website, so you can look at where the target placement is and all that. It's about speed and accuracy. So
GSSF.
And you don't have to win to get. You can just participate and get a chance to win a gun.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a really good beginner's match. There's no running around. You can show up with a Glock in a box and some ammo and shoot the match.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a minute. All right, welcome back. We were talking about the Glock match. And for those of you in the Tallahassee market,
Didn't hear that.
So we do have a Glock match coming to Dothan. We have a springtime Glock match here in Tallahassee.
Late February. That ain't necessarily
winter
springtime.
Winter. We have a winter.
It's springtime for the people from Illinois and Michigan and all them that come down here to shoot because they're just trying to get away from the snow. But yeah.
But Glock reached out and wanted us to have one at the Dothan range too, because it's a big range, and very popular in the area. And so there was that opportunity. Gave us some dates, and Drew Coleman, who is the match director for pretty much anything up there, I guess they agreed on November, and there again, it's not terribly hot weather. I mean, they have the Endless Summer Blast in October, and I asked him, I said, why do you call that the Endless Summer Blast? And he goes, well, anyway, we don't want to have it when it's hot.
November 23rd and 24th.
Yep.
23rd and
Looking
24th.
at it
That's
And you don't have to shoot both days. You can come in and just
do it all at one time, or
Yep.
you can come enjoy it, and it depends on how many guns you bring. You'll have Fred. You'll see these folks that show up to these matches, and they'll literally have one of the little
Pelican cases.
unfolding wagon like I use for soccer tournaments. They'll have 6 or 7 guns stuffed in there and dragging them around, and it's they'll do 6, 7 entries. One guy, because he gets 6 or 7 chances to win a gun with every one of those entries or every one of those divisions.
Is there an entry fee in the tournament, or is it?
Yep, you have to be a member of the of GSSF,
and you can join right there though.
You can join that day, and it's like there's some advantages to joining GSSF. You get after your first year of being a member, they give you a certificate to buy a Blue Label Glock, a Glock at Blue Label prices. Like, we're a Blue Label dealer, and the difference in price between let's just say the standard Glock 17 or standard the difference in price between a standard Glock 17 Blue Label and commercial is about $125 or something. So it's a very big savings. It's actually, as a retired law enforcement officer, you can, or military person, you can buy Blue Label guns, but you can only buy 2 a year. I can actually buy a Blue Label gun for myself cheaper than I can buy a Glock at wholesale to sell in the store.
Wow.
So
you go in there and look at the difference, and they go, "Well, y'all make a lot more money on the." No,
it's separate inventory.
We don't make. They sell us a Glock wholesale at $1 amount, and then Blue Label, the wholesale's cheaper, but we make probably less than half the money on. We don't
I can
make
tell you
that
exactly.
much.
We make somewhere between $25 and $30 on a Blue Label Glock sale.
Yeah, we don't.
That's
I mean,
our
the margin's not great on a retail gun. The gun industry, the fallacy is people make money selling guns. We really don't. If you buy high end stuff, you just figure there's a percentage margin. It is a very small percentage. So you come in, you try to talk price. No, it's all we can do. Now we make more on accessories and sometimes ammo and different things like that. We stay in business because of our range memberships. Right. We make our money because people come here and shoot. And we sell all this other stuff. So
you got something to shoot with.
Yeah, one because the primary reason I think honestly it's just cool. And you're here. Why not buy your stuff here?
Right.
And why not buy it from people who shoot this stuff and see people go out to the range all the time. They come back in, they give feedback, they talk about what they like, what they don't like. Our employees hear all of that and help people. And I was listening to Matt explain something the other day, and it's just a matter of we had a representative in here from Trigicon. And one of the things Matt was explaining to him, because we're about to get set up with them, we'll be carrying some of the really cool Trigicon products, everything from their sights, different night sights and stuff that they have, to thermal, to
red dots, ACOGs.
ACOGs, yeah. People come in here and they don't know what they want, but they listen to us. They want advice. What should I build? I want something that does this, this, and this. And so the conversation is, well, what do you want to do?
Right.
Well, I want a truck gun that doubles as a home defense gun, but I want a red dot on it, and I want this and this and this and this. Do you want a flashlight? How many? What caliber? What are you trying to do? And it's
a lot of times people, I'm looking for a gun. Okay, what are you trying to do with it? That is the biggest question that we ask most of the time with a firearm purchase is, what are you trying to accomplish with this? If you're telling me, you say, I want to buy a bolt action rifle with a scope on it. All right, what are you shooting at? Are you shooting at paper? Are you shooting at hogs? Are you shooting at squirrels? Are you shooting at deer? How far are you shooting at these things? So what capabilities are you looking for? And if you can give me that criteria, and then tell me what your budget, give me some idea of what your budget is, we got a lot of room to work with. We can find something to fit your bill, basically, is what it boils down to. A lot of guys come in.
That's the intrinsic value of a place like what y'all bring.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? You don't get that at some other big box store. You know what I mean? You're not.
And you can go right down to the range and rent a lot of these guns and go, so when it comes to like handguns and stuff, then, I kind of want this Glock, but I'm thinking about something in that kind. Why don't you run down to the range and shoot them? And then they go down there and, they pay to shoot, but they rent a gun. And if they come back up here and they go, I decided I want this pistol, and they're going to buy it, then we will discount the price of the rental off of the price of the gun. We already got the money. Wow. Why wouldn't we?
Wow.
And, we get these range gun programs and stuff. And another, coming here is also to buy weapons. Is imagine the trade-ins we take in, and the consignment guns that we have, and the used guns that we pick up from time to time. You can go in there sometimes, and it's like walking into a museum. There's just and every week it changes. Yeah. It just steady changes. And
the problem is that when something new comes out, and I come in here to do the show,
I love it.
And I got to go home and tell my wife she can't eat for the week.
Whatever, Fred.
Yeah.
No, Fred comes in. Hey, man, come here and look at this. Oh, I gotta have that.
I had more.
We just took in a bunch of dead gum knives.
Did you see that big old? What on earth that old timer knife that's bigger than something Crocodile Dundee might have back
there? That's a dealer display. It's a huge 3-bladed folding old timer knife, but it was never intended obviously for. That's a dealer display. It's
okay.
You shouldn't have told him that. You should have sold him that knife and let him carry that knife around.
It's kind of like Fred putting big tires on his truck. There's a reason. But yeah, he needs that big old knife like that. Yeah, but no. We had a gentleman come in that's I guess thinning his knife collection herd down, and got some cool old
got some neat stuff back there.
Some Hinkles and some
got a
some
Gerber
Bokers,
back there.
some Gerbers, Bokers, tree brand stuff. I mean some good knives. I mean good quality knives. Hen and Rooster, a lot of the good nice German pocket knives.
You know the knife. I got another one today because I gave this one to my nephew last night, but. This is a $10 knife y'all got sitting out there on the
a bucket full of them.
There's a bucket full of them out there, and this is has become more useful. I like it particularly because it's got the bottle opener on it.
You need to couple it with one of those $10. You need to couple it with one of those $10 flashlights we sell out there. That's 200 lumens. JD, remember when the first Surefires came out?
80 lumens.
And they were 60 lumens of incandescent light using $5 CR123 batteries, and they'd go out in 20 minutes and be done. And then, and now, if you said, I got a 60 lumen light, I'm like, what is that on your keychain? And and so I mean, and
flashlight technology has the red dot. The biggest technological gains that we've seen to me in the last 15, 20 years is with the holographic sights, because that's changed the gun world. Holographic sights and the wild availability of massive amounts of lights in a really small package. The flashlight stuff has
those are dirt cheap flashlights, and we bought them because you can use them, hold them in your hand, and jab just strike like a stabbing motion, stab somebody in the eyeball, the bridge of the nose, in the temple, and blind them at the same time.
Self-defense tool that's an innocuous little small
for
light.
$10, and you can take it anywhere. You can take it into places you can't take weapons. So because it's a flashlight. I might have to find my keys or something. So you got that. And they're at the front counter. It's a what you call that when you at the counter and you buy
impulse
impulse buy. That's why I buy some candy bars.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I got to buy a freaking flashlight, David.
Well, that's all right. We'll get you one on the way out.
We'll get you one $100 one. It looks exactly the same. We'll be back.
So drop an anchor. I'm so hook, line, and sinker. Show me where to sign.
And we're back. Still on a flashlight discussion.
Well, I was just talking about, the I've got a 2,000 lumen little small handheld flashlight that I keep in the truck. If I'd have had one of them when I was a teenager, I'd probably still be in prison for poaching or killing, night hunting. I mean, with a truck, you had Q beams back then. You had to plug into the truck. There wasn't no battery powered Q beams. You had to walk around with the truck
Q
battery.
beams got hot too.
And they get real hot, and they were heavy, and they got this old scrunchy cord that's got to be plugged in, and then then the game board.
But about 5 foot of that cord, because you pull too hard, it come out of the cigarette lighter.
That's right.
And you're up there trying to manipulate that thing around. And
but if you give me a flashlight that more light than the Q beam and said, here, you can hand this, walk around the woods with it, and it'll last about 2 hours, they wouldn't have been no critters left in North Florida. I'd have killed them all.
The other night I thought my wife was asleep, and she wasn't. Caught me browsing the internet. Not what you're thinking. I was looking at train horns.
Train horn?
Yeah, put a train horn in your truck. It sounds like a train. You pull up behind somebody in the grocery store parking lot. And,
So could you be held civilly liable if you did that and they had a heart attack or fell over dead? Fainting goat syndrome and just fell out and busted their head, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't think they're legal.
Probably not.
But that wouldn't stop me.
Well, you just go and buy you one and pull up behind a trooper and blow it and see. Then you'll find out if it's legal or not.
I might do that.
That's you go right ahead. You go right ahead. I hate those things. I hate them.
A train horn?
I hate them. People that first off, I don't like. You got to understand. JD and I probably once or twice in our career had somebody blow. Exactly. Just as you walk in front of the patrol car, and they hit that doggone horn. I don't forget what that maybe just been horn, but
it's
part of the siren. You know, so you got different siren sounds, but you can flip it over to just bump it and it'll be real loud.
Oh yeah,
and just I would be fighting mad every time, and it's probably contributed to my lack of being able to hear now.
Well,
it's loud.
I was fixing to say you and I both have substantial hearing deficiencies, and but I'm super sensitive to loud noise. Loud noise is loud stuff like that is actually fairly painful to me, even when I'm not wearing my hearing aids. And I'm. That goose horn, that bonk.
Yeah.
There's always that guy that's walking down the aisle.
Well, it's the same.
You know, when you're trying to park, and he's going to walk in the middle of the road.
Oh, yeah.
At the
we're
grocery
living
store,
in their world.
And I just always wanted to have a train horn to get up behind that guy.
Yeah, but Fred, if I was your size, I don't think I'd do that.
Well, that's why you do it in a fast
I'm
car.
big enough, I might be able to stand behind that. But
he's like old Slowpoke Gonzalez. He's the slowest mouse in all Mexico. Instead of Speedy old Slowpoke. I'm slow, but I carry a big gun.
You just want to make sure there's nobody behind you when you do it, so you can back out.
Yeah, that's just
hit the button to flip the cover down over your tag number. You can't get your tag.
Oh,
I hate those horns. So
you ever see those guys that have those things that go through the toll booth, and they caught some guy down in South Florida. He was going through and he had a thing where he'd press the button and it would flip another tag license tag.
It wasn't James Bond and Aston Martin, was it?
Well, if you get a train horn, make sure you go get you a lift kit for the front of your truck.
Yeah.
Just the front.
Just the front?
You got to have a squat to go with that noise.
That is the stupidest thing. Why is it people do that?
There you go. That's how I feel about the train horn.
I heard the only single potentially legitimate thing I heard from that, it came from South Carolina, or they call it Carolina Squat, and it was for dog hunters wanted to lower the back end of their truck so they could load their hound dogs up in the back of the truck. That is the only potentially legitimate reason I can come up with, that you out in the woods hunting and you want a lower tailgate so your dog can get in the truck.
I have yet to see somebody driving one of those that
in the
looks
woods.
like they might be a dog hunter.
It's all teenagers. It's all teenagers that now can't see what's going on in front of the car because their hood's blocking half their view.
And surely it's got to mess up the oil pan.
Everything. It's got to mess up everything in that underneath.
So yeah. Well, it might make hooking your boat trailer up a little easier. You never know because it's closer to the ground.
Or it might be too low.
I was going to say,
we need to do that to your Suburban, Paul. What do you think?
There you go.
I ain't doing it.
So hey, this is the last segment. We'll talk about fishing before we go. Well, all this rain and all this stuff, how's that going to affect what's going on?
I tell you, the lakes are going to be definitely full and the rivers are going to be flowing. I just went over Little River coming down here, and it's high and moving. I know on Lake Seminole, as of today, the lake was as high as I seen it last night, and they're pulling 60,000 CFS, cubic feet per second, and that's supposed to increase. So between that rain between here and Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It's going to be coming for the next couple of weeks, which actually can make the fishing good. It's going to raise the water up, and the fish can be good. I will give you a full report. You set some bush hooks,
catch some catfish out there.
Well, the river's going to be high,
and if you really want something fun to do, go to the Flint River and watch the coon tracks as they float by. Walk out on the dock, and you can see the raccoon tracks floating by. Going downstream because it's fixing to be red.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to mention this, but river flooding just prompted me. We're going to get projected to get 31 foot of water under the 27 bridge on Ochlockonee River.
Really?
At 26 and a half feet, we have to move the skeet machines off of the skeet field. The sporting clays will still be open, but skeet's fixing to be underwater.
If we can get
to the if it doesn't back up into the ditch but so in the next few days, if you are interested in shooting sporting clays or skeet at the range here in Midway, you might want to call first and make sure it's accessible, because I can tell you skeet machines are getting moved. They'll be moved by Saturday.
Well,
so
I think there's a dove season starting somewhere around here.
Yeah, might they shoot at live birds? It's in Georgia still, I think, isn't it?
So
I think
I was told it started here
this weekend. Yeah,
today, this Saturday, but. I got a whole bunch of dove over there, but we didn't get anything mowed. We just got so tied up with everything else, and I don't know. I'm gonna go after we record today, and I'm gonna go to look and see if there's anything flying.
Well, Hey, you got my.
I'll call you if it looks like it's
The
gonna be
number's
good.
on the website. I mean,
If he calls me, Fred, I'll call you. We'll ride together,
yeah,
save a little fuel.
yeah.
Well,
I'm there.
we've been having a bunch of, just don't know where they are. I meant to go out there and mow, but the mower broke, and but there was a bunch of brown top and stuff out there. So, but with the storm coming, everything got sideways, and
Well, you might have a water hole out there on a couple.
but that
of them
doesn't
fields.
mean that doesn't
mean the
that,
dove ain't gonna be there.
That doesn't mean they ain't gonna be there next week. You know?
Well, I mean, it like Fred was saying, I don't know if the storm. You never know. It might have pushed
Yeah.
all the dove over here, over to Jackson County to the west. They might have.
Could have.
We'll go over there.
Turning this.
We'll see.
I mean, with that chill in the air,
Yeah.
Oh, that felt good this
We're
morning.
gonna get some 64 degrees at
What?
night here in the next
good.
week or so, buddy. According to the forecast I saw.
so I'll be in the Bahamas next week. So
Won't be here Friday.
no, won't be
Why?
here next Friday.
Why?
Well, this one, my wife's office retreat. I'm just going to tag along.
Oh, you chaperoning?
I'm
He's
chaperoning.
he's the entertainment.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll be bone fishing.
Ooh, send us some pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun.
Well, I think I'm gonna do a wall dive where you dive
Yep.
this thing.
You out next week, Paul?
No,
You here?
yes sir.
Okay, we'll be here. We'll just have to do
Managed to do the show without Fred.
without Fred. We might actually get something accomplished. Talk about something productive for a change.
Maybe.
The we got 2 minutes to kill, so
Well,
I'll just keep on
well,
talking. No, I'm not.
You were acting like you was getting ready to stop
I
over
thought-
there.
No,
so
I
I'm
just
starting to
ran
slow
out of
down.
stuff to
Oh, I
talk
thought-
about, JD.
Well, I got all kinds of. Y'all been catching? Did you fish any this week before
Yes,
the storm?
I did. I did get to go before the storm, and they were definitely biting.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine call me and said, "Is that you out there on the lake?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Already biting?" He said, "Well, there's storms already. And get your blank, blank, blank off that water."
So,
So,
You
so I
catch,
went on in.
catching
Alright.
bass?
Yes.
well, with all this water and JD saying it's going down 64 degrees, is that gonna bring the stripers in?
Add that little bit cooler weather. We need a little bit cooler about November.
Because I'm going.
Oh, and then I told him if stripers ain't hitting, we'll do some crappie fishing if y'all want to.
I'll tell
No,
you.
we won't catch. Neither one of us ever caught a striper.
Well, brother, I hope that's working because that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I
That's
haven't seen them yet.
this
Is
time
it?
of
A
year.
little
This
bit,
time
but
of
not-
year, it's
gotta get
it
cooler.
is. I tell you, some of the best fishing days I've ever had in my life were in the month of October. I mean, especially
Yep.
down in the river,
Yep.
in the Apalachicola River. I've had some incredible
Have
days.
you got to use live scope yet, Fred?
The what?
The live scope where you see the bait?
No, I have not been.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
So yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed the yellow butterflies or.
Yeah, I've been looking for them. Just noticed coming down here. I'm seeing them now.
That's red fishing.
Yep.
That means redfish are fixing to get on it too. So
I saw them last weekend. They started showing up.
that's always
Yep.
a good thing. Dove,
You've been
dove
seeing them there at
fields,
your property,
red, yellow butterflies.
Charlie?
What?
Have you been seeing them at your property, the yellow butterflies?
We plant about head grass. They don't hang around that. They more crop land. I have seen a few, yes, but it's
Good.
my focus has been elsewhere recently. But now that all this mess is done, I think I can roll back into that again. Anyway,
I'm just ready for fall, man. I'm
Me
excited
too.
about it.
I tell you what, that cool.
The early duck phase is about over yet. Yep.
we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all next time. I hope this show turns out all right.
You got to give me more than 5 seconds.